Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to part two of this. Well, not part two. The second part is fear. All right, fear. So fear is definitely something that comes within trading. It's like when you're just afraid to lose money, and it depends on who you are, how you grew up, what you've been through in your life. Right? Everyone's different in the situation. For me, I was already used to losing money in the markets because I was always like a hustler. If it wasn't FX, it was somewhere else beforehand, right? I used to resell shoes, resell clothes. If you guys know, right? You guys been to that side of the hype beast world, yeah, right? You guys probably know, but that's who I kind of was, and I was always like a grinder. So I kind of knew what taking risk was like. I kind of knew what losing money was like, because I've been through those things, right? Whereas some of you guys may not have never experienced that stuff yet. You guys have never experienced risk or any type of money management. Then that's when it's going to get to a point where it might hit you a bit harder than other people. It might hit you a bit harder, but it's okay because eventually you're going to have to get used to it, right? Because that's what FX is. You will lose money in FX. You will lose money in FX. Not long term though. Short term, when you first start, you will lose money. Right? Short term, you will lose money because you haven't experienced enough yet. You haven't experienced the ups, the downs. You haven't experienced the wins, the losses. You haven't experienced those emotions yet. So you will lose money. You haven't experienced like a plan yet, right? Like stuff like that. As a new trader, you wouldn't know. So you will lose money by I guess not putting enough hours in yet, right? Especially if you're trading live off the rip, like I did when I first started trading. You'll lose money, and it's fine. If you're in that position right now, it's okay. Just continue to do whatever you're doing. Maybe adjust to kind of what I'm trying to say here, or maybe adjust to whatever's working for you at the moment that helps with this, right? But over time, once you establish those ideas, those plans, you won't lose money anymore. But who knows when that will happen, right? Who knows? That could be tomorrow, that could be next week, next month, next year. But there's no rush. Don't like force yourself to not lose money because you're just always gonna be shit in your pants, and you're always gonna be in a situation where you're always gonna be hesitant. And FX, by being hesitant, it will kill you long term as well, right? But yeah, fear of losing money is definitely something that I see a lot of people in my chat deal with as well. And the way I've dealt with fear, I guess, when I first started trading, I didn't do it as much as, again, like I said, I did resell and did do all those other things that involve money ahead of time. So I was kind of used to the fact of losing money in some situations. But I'll say how I dealt with it in FX was I just kind of, how do I say this? I just kind of kept blowing accounts, right? I just kept blowing accounts. I lost a trade, lost money, lost accounts, blew accounts, and it happens. But I feel like you'll stop losing money in FX once you figure out a plan for yourself, like a trading plan, right? Like ideas, setups, entries that you have established over time. And that might, I was talking to someone about this earlier today, and that might take a bit longer. That might take a year. That might take a couple months, right? But it will happen. You'll get, obviously when you start off, you don't have those things planned yet. You don't have trades that you want to enter off all the time. You don't have situations that you want to wait for all the time, right? Those things you haven't established yet. And for you to know what those things are, you must go through them and backtest them for a extent period of time to a point where you can know percentages of what they are and how profitable they are compared to how non-profitable they are. Obviously, you got to a point where you kind of get rid of things that aren't profitable and you keep the things that are profitable, right? So that once you figure that out, I promise you guys, there's no more emotions after, because what's going to happen is you're going to be trained like a robot. You know what you want to enter. You know what you want to avoid. You know all these things already. You have experience already, and you kind of just trade as a robot. You don't think of anything else. You don't think of the wins. You don't think of the losses. You kind of take a trade, win, lose, do the same exact thing tomorrow. That exact same setup tomorrow. And it's gonna be crazy to some of you guys because you guys may have not heard this before, but I always tell myself that, or tell others in the chat that whenever I lose a trade, a setup that I would normally take, I would take that exact same trade tomorrow, even though I lost it today. And how do I know if it's profitable? Because I've backtested that same setup before, right? I know that 80% of the time it will be profitable, 20% of the time it will not be profitable. Actually, it's 80-20. Obviously, 80% of the time, long term, will make you win a lot more than you lose, right? So that's my idea on fear. Just fear, greed, right? and a lot of other psychology as well. But that's on to the next video, right, guys? Peace and love, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.